13 strangest archaeological discoveries recently excavated that shocked the world. My friend, if you think nothing in this world can surprise you anymore, you might want to think again after hearing the bizarre discoveries archaeologists have recently unearthed. 13 brand new mysteries, each one stranger, more thrilling, and more unexpected than the last, have left even scientists scratching their heads, unable to explain them. And you know what? These discoveries weren't just lying quietly beneath the ground for thousands of years. They also hide stories as dramatic as movies, with some details chilling enough to give anyone goosebumps. From ancient tombs containing odd objects, to skeletons that don't follow any known burial practices, to underground structures that seem as if they were crafted by some mysterious civilization, everything is gradually coming to light. So if you're someone who loves uncovering secrets and piecing together every clue to find the truth, brace yourself, because today's journey will take you from one surprise to another. Are you ready? If you are, then let's begin unearthing these world-shaking secrets with the very first discovery right now. The ancient skeleton with intact skin in Ireland. On October 17, 2017, when Storm Ophelia swept across the coast of Ireland with winds reaching up to about 75 miles per hour, scenes of devastation appeared everywhere. 3 people were killed, more than 330,000 households lost power, roofs were torn off, and countless flights were canceled. A truly heartbreaking sight, wasn't it? But you know what? Amid all that destruction, another kind of heartbreak emerged when a mystery more than 1,000 years old suddenly came to light. At Forlorn Point, near Kilmore Quay in Wexford, strong winds blew away layers of soil and revealed a prehistoric human skeleton. What shocked archaeologists was that the skeleton still had patches of intact skin, a phenomenon extremely rare in archaeological research. You might think nature only destroys, but this time, it unexpectedly became an accidental excavator, giving us a precious glimpse into the lives of the Irish people during the Iron Age. Through initial examinations and analyses, forensic expert Marie Cassidy determined that the skeleton was roughly 1,000 years old and belonged to inhabitants of the Iron Age. Because of this, experts immediately transported the remains to Dublin for detailed study in hopes of uncovering the cause of death, the person's age, and the living conditions of ancient people. However, even after many years, the results have still not been released to the public. What we do know is that the skeleton was later transferred to the National Museum of Ireland, where it is preserved, displayed, and honored as a unique cultural heritage item, helping the world better understand Ireland's ancient past. But did you notice something? The fascinating part here is how nature and history intersected so unexpectedly. While Storm Ophelia left behind destruction and loss, it also accidentally revealed a piece of the past that humans would never have seen otherwise. With just one storm, layers of earth that had rested for centuries were stripped away, leaving behind a vivid story of the life, beliefs, and existence of people who lived in Ireland 1,000 years ago. This discovery not only provided archaeologists with valuable data about Iron Age life, but also opened up many intriguing questions. How did ancient people live? What did they believe in? And how could the skeleton still retain patches of skin after centuries underground? Every layer of soil blown away by the storm is a reminder that history doesn't just sit quietly on paper. It is always waiting to be uncovered. The story of the skeleton at Kilmore highlights an important truth. Sometimes natural disasters bring not only loss, but also unexpected opportunities. It shows that nature, harsh as it may be, can sometimes act like an unwilling archaeologist, revealing mysteries that humans might take centuries to discover. The 600-year-old mass grave of 140 children beneath the hot sands of Peru. There are stories that send chills down your spine the moment you hear them, and the discovery announced on March 7th in Peru is one of those. At the Huanchaquito Las Llamas archaeological site, located about 373 miles north of Lima, archaeologists uncovered a secret buried for more than 600 years. The remains of 140 children who had been sacrificed in an ancient ritual. This wasn't just the largest mass child burial ever found in the Americas, it was also a haunting testament to ancient belief systems, where people saw human life as the most precious offering to the gods. What stunned researchers were the marks left on the victims' bones. Sharp incisions on the sternum and ribs showed that the children, and even livestock, had their chests opened, likely to remove their hearts as part of the sacrificial ritual. Based on analysis, experts determined that the victims included both boys and girls, ranging in age from 5 to 14 years old. The fact that children so young were used as offerings reflects the harsh and deeply spiritual worldview of ancient times, where sacred beliefs sometimes overshadowed even the instinct to protect the young. But the horror didn't end there. Across an area of roughly about 7,000 square feet, archaeologists also found around 200 llamas that had been sacrificed. Both humans and animals were buried in a specific arrangement, proving that the ritual was not random. It was organized, deliberate, and conducted on a massive scale. This raises an even more painful question. What could have driven an entire culture to sacrifice so many lives? The information about this shocking discovery came from years of research conducted between 2011 and 2016 by an international team of experts, and the findings were published in the scientific journal PLOS1 in March 2019. Among the researchers was Professor John Verano, who participated directly in the excavation. He emphasized that this is the first time scientists have found such a systematic and large-scale child sacrifice ritual in this region. According to him, this discovery is not just another historical puzzle piece, it opens up an entirely new direction for studying rituals involving child sacrifice in the ancient world. When looking at the silent remains beneath the soil, we see more than the traces of a religious ceremony. We see the darker corners of ancient civilization. These brutal elements help us understand how people of that era thought, what they believed in, and how they responded to the harsh forces of nature. Before the rise of the mighty Inca Empire, earlier pre-Inca civilizations existed with complex belief systems, including rituals that leave today's world stunned and unsettled. The story from Juan Chiquito Las Llamas is like a doorway into another world, a world where people placed absolute faith in their gods, to the point of sacrificing what they valued most. And the more we learn, the clearer it becomes that the past is still full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. It shows us that the journey of exploring humanity isn't only about tracing our origins, it's also about confronting the truths that history tried to bury beneath the sands of time, don't you think? A World War II aircraft wreck hidden in the forests of Hong Kong. My friend, imagine you're taking a walk through the woods when suddenly you stumble upon rusted metal fragments lying silently beneath a layer of fallen leaves. Would you ever think they belonged to a fighter plane that once roared across the skies during World War II? If that thought has never crossed your mind, then come with me into today's story. A gripping 12-day journey deep inside Tai Tam Park in Hong Kong, where an entire historical treasure awakened after more than 7 decades buried in nature. It all began when a research team led by archaeologist Michael B.C. Rivera from the University of Hong Kong, along with 250 volunteers, ventured into the dense forests of Tai Tam to unlock a mystery that had lingered for over 75 years. And you know what? The results surprised everyone. During their expedition, they discovered more than 600 fragments of a military aircraft, from warped propeller pieces to a landing gear component measuring about 6.5 feet long, all scattered like pieces of a story forgotten by time. The most exciting part for archaeologists was that some pieces still had their serial numbers, which could serve as the golden key to identifying the aircraft. According to specialists William Belcher and Andrew Pietruska, the wreckage most likely belonged to a TBM-1C Avenger, a famous U.S. military torpedo bomber from World War II that took part in numerous high-risk missions across the Pacific. Now you might be wondering, so when did this plane crash? The answer lies in January 16, 1945, during the period when intense American airstrikes were targeting Japanese positions in Hong Kong. The ill-fated aircraft is believed to have been hit by anti-aircraft fire before crashing into the hills of Tai Tam. But here's the surprising part. It wasn't until 2011 that the crash site was finally identified, thanks to amateur historian Craig Mitchell, who spent years painstakingly tracking down faint traces left in old documents. Even so, the research team had to wait until just last year to begin the excavation because the COVID-19 pandemic put everything on hold. Yet this delay turned out to be a blessing, allowing for an extremely thorough investigation involving some of Hong Kong's top universities, including HKU, Hong Kong Baptist University, and the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Using modern technologies like high-resolution imaging, videography, and 3D modeling, they ensured that not even the smallest metal fragment was overlooked. The full results will be published in a scientific paper early next year, and they're expected to draw even more public interest. But perhaps the most valuable outcome is something deeper. This discovery has reignited curiosity and excitement about history, especially among young people. While many old stories have faded into books and memory, these silent fragments have become vivid reminders of the sacrifices and unfinished journeys of the past. So what do you think? If you had the chance, would you want to visit Tai Tam and see for yourself the place where a fighter plane crashed more than 75 years ago? As for me, I'll be honest, I can't wait. An 800-year-old treasure rises from the soil of India. Our next story takes us to the village of Pembarthi, India, where an ancient treasure suddenly came to light at 11 a.m. on April 8, 2021, a morning that seemed completely ordinary until a worker's shovel struck something far too unusual, revealing a massive treasure hidden beneath the earth. It happened while a construction crew was digging on a plot of land measuring about 11 acres, owned by Narasimha, a local real estate businessman. As they worked, they unexpectedly uncovered a pot buried roughly about 2 feet below the ground. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than an old, long-forgotten object. But when the lid was opened, everyone froze, because inside was a treasure in the truest sense of the word. And not just a few random trinkets. Inside the pot were 22 gold earrings, 51 gold beads, and numerous intricately crafted gold items. But that wasn't all. There were also 26 silver ingots, 5 silver chains, and several other silver objects. Mixed in with the treasure were glowing red rubies that sparkled under the sun. Everyone present could hardly believe their eyes. When the treasure was weighed, the results were staggering. About 418 pounds of gold and 3.8 pounds of silver. Numbers shocking enough to leave anyone speechless. But more important than the material value was the treasure's historical origin. According to Indian media, experts believe these precious artifacts may have belonged to the Kakatiya dynasty, which existed from the 12th to the 14th century, a prosperous era known for its exquisite jewelry-making craftsmanship. And here's something fascinating. The village of Pembarthi has long been surrounded by rumors of an ancient buried treasure. In fact, over the years, several groups had secretly dug in the area hoping to find hidden riches, but all attempts failed. Perhaps the treasure simply chose to reveal itself when the time was right, and the landowner this time had no idea that building a house would uncover an entire forgotten legacy. The discovery also drew special attention from Indian authorities. Archaeologists believe that if systematic excavations continue across other plots in the village, many more valuable artifacts may still be lying silently underground. It's even possible that the entire Pembarthi region once served as a safe hiding place for royal or noble possessions during times of war or turmoil in the Kakatiya period. Just imagine this. Less than a meter underground, an 800-year-old treasure sat there, patiently waiting to see the light of day. It must feel like opening a door through time, touching a piece of history that has yet to be fully told. Amazing, isn't it? Have you ever stumbled upon a treasure under such unexpected circumstances? Comment below and let me and everyone else know whether you might just be the luckiest person out there. 119 human remains in an ancient Aztec skull tower leave scientists baffled. If you ever set foot among the ruins of the Aztec Empire in the heart of Mexico City, you'd probably never imagine that beneath that calm layer of soil lies a chilling story, one so disturbing that it sent shivers through the entire archaeological community. And now, we're going to follow the traces of one of the most shocking discoveries in recent years, the Skull Tower, an ancient structure that once struck terror into countless generations, and today continues to astonish experts with new mysteries uncovered after centuries hidden underground. It all began when archaeologists started excavating an area belonging to an ancient Aztec sacrificial temple. They expected to find familiar artifacts, pottery, tools, architectural remnants. But as each layer of soil was removed, something appeared that left everyone frozen in place. The remains of 119 people arranged as part of a towering structure made of skulls. Even more astonishing was its location, right in the center of ancient Tenochtitlan, the powerful capital and beating heart of the Aztec Empire. But the shock didn't end there. When the team examined the skulls more closely, they discovered something that contradicted everything previously recorded. Many of the skulls belonged to women and children. This left the experts truly puzzled, because for decades, historians believed the heads used to construct Huaytzompantli, the massive skull rack, came mainly from young warriors or prisoners captured in battle. Archaeologist Barrera Rodriguez even admitted that it was extremely difficult to determine how many of them had been warriors, but the presence of women and children was definitely not something earlier theories ever accounted for. Anthropologist Rodrigo Bolanos confirmed that this was the first time such a discovery had ever been made in relation to Huaytzompantli, something he said has never been recorded in any ancient document. Now think about it. Why would women and children appear in a structure long believed to symbolize Aztec military power? Could it be that their sacrificial rituals were far more terrifying and complex than we once imagined? Is it possible they chose victims regardless of gender or age to satisfy gods who demanded blood and absolute devotion? Mexico's Minister of Culture, Alejandra Frausto, expressed her astonishment as well, stating that each step of the Templo Mayor excavation reveals stories never before known. According to her, Huaytzompantli is one of the most remarkable archaeological discoveries in recent years, and this skull tower has certainly proven why. The Mexican government considers this one of the country's most significant findings in a long time, not only because of its scale, but also because of the unsettling questions it raises. Questions that make Aztec history, already steeped in mystery and intensity, even more unpredictable and enigmatic. So what do you think? Were these skulls truly from victims sacrificed to the gods? Or is there another secret the Aztecs buried with time? Share your thoughts, because this story still has many layers waiting to be revealed. An 800-year-old mummy bound by hands reveals a strange burial ritual in ancient Peru. In the sun-baked lands of Peru, where ancient sites lie quietly beneath layers of time, archaeologists have uncovered a secret that is both fascinating and spine-chilling. In the coastal region of central Peru, not far from the capital, Lima, a mummy approximately 800 years old was discovered, carrying unusual traces of the daily life and beliefs of ancient people. This find is not only significant for scientists, but also offers a unique window into the history of this culturally rich region. What draws the most attention is the position of the mummy. Unlike typical burials where the body is laid straight, this ancient individual had been tightly bound with ropes, and the hands were placed directly over the face. This arrangement was clearly intentional. According to archaeologist Peter Van Dalen Luna from San Marcos State University, this may represent a distinctive burial ritual practiced by coastal and mountain communities of the ancient Andes. Although the gender of the mummy has not been determined, the way the body was preserved suggests that the ancient people had a highly sophisticated belief system with rules and customs that modern science is still striving to understand. But the story doesn't end with the body itself. The entire burial site revealed even more intriguing details. Alongside the mummy, archaeologists found ancient pottery, stone tools, and plant fossils. These items were not simply grave goods. They serve as pieces of a puzzle, showing that this culture once thrived, rich in traditions and identity. Examining each artifact, one can imagine the life of Andean people, whose unique civilization emerged from a landscape of towering mountains and a distinct climate. To determine the mummy's age, experts used radiocarbon dating, a standard technique in archaeology. The results indicate that the body has been buried for approximately 8 centuries. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. Behind it lies a long story about customs, beliefs, and how ancient people confronted the harsh realities of life in the Andes. Peru is famous worldwide for the awe-inspiring Machu Picchu, standing proudly above the clouds. Yet few know that beneath the soil of this nation lie countless untold secrets. Mummies, artifacts, ancient tombs, all are like scattered chapters of a story, waiting for modern humans to turn the pages. This discovery of a bound mummy reinforces that Peruvian history is not only beautiful, but also profound and endlessly fascinating. Perhaps the ropes binding this ancient individual will help us understand a mysterious ritual. Perhaps among the pottery shards and plant remains lying side by side, there are clues to how these people viewed life and death. The more we explore, the more we realize that history is never distant. It lies right beneath our feet, waiting to be awakened. A secret tunnel. leading 1,000 miles beneath the Earth. If we say that the Earth still holds countless secrets yet to be uncovered, the story of a geological tunnel beneath Panama may be the clearest evidence. When we hear the word tunnel, we usually think of structures built by humans, but this discovery by scientists goes far beyond imagination. It is a massive fissure deep beneath the planet's crust, stretching from about 62 miles below the surface all the way down to 1,000 miles, reaching the deepest layers of the mantle. Just imagine a hidden passage piercing straight into the innards of the Earth. Without seeing it firsthand, it's hard to believe it's real. But even more remarkable is that this underground doorway isn't passive. It functions like a highway, transporting material from beneath the Galapagos region, moving it across a colossal distance and surfacing beneath Panama. This strange flow of material has puzzled scientists. Why would such deep earth material appear in Panama, a region not known for volcanic activity? According to Science Alert, this represents a completely new mechanism of material circulation, previously undocumented in any geological study. Surprisingly, it also explains a long-standing paradox. Panama has almost no volcanoes, while nearby on Central America's west coast, tectonic plates collide intensely, forming the Central American volcanic arc. Previously, we understood that the Cocos Plate is slowly subducting beneath the North American plate, dragging the oceanic crust down into the Earth and forming a subduction zone, where fire, molten rock, and pressure create towering volcanic chains. Yet Panama seems to stand apart from this pattern, like a misplaced piece of the puzzle. The newly discovered geological tunnel provides the key explanation. Geochemist David Beckert from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution describes this tunnel as a sudden window in the Earth, where deep mantle material can rise without being blocked by the overlying crust. Furthermore, when researchers analyzed rocks in western Panama and areas beyond Costa Rica's volcanic range, they found minerals that did not belong to the local mantle. Instead, their composition matched mantle material from beneath the Galapagos, thousands of kilometers away and at extreme depths. It gets even more fascinating. Modeling shows that beneath Panama, a portion of the Cocos Plate is buried but does not dissolve into the mantle as expected. Instead, it bends, cracks, and forms a narrow fissure, a natural tunnel. Through this accidental gap, deep earth material can slip through, reaching Panama and leaving traces that scientists are only now beginning to piece together. According to Live Science, this fissure might be an ancient fault that existed long ago, or it could have formed from extreme compression, stretching, and bending as the Cocos Plate subducted. But why does deep material choose this specific pathway? What forces propel it upward? Is it the mantle's heat, massive convection currents, or some other geological mechanism humanity has yet to discover? All these questions remain unsolved mysteries, waiting for future research to provide answers. A family of 8 mummies, preserved for 500 years, under Greenland's ice. In the harsh, icy wilderness of Greenland, where the wind cuts like a knife and snow blankets the land year-round, a secret lay buried for centuries. Then, in 1972, 2 hunters, Hans and Joachim Grunwald, accidentally became the key to unlocking that mystery when they discovered a shallow cave beneath a rocky outcrop in the abandoned region of Kilakitsuk. Inside, they were met with a sight that would leave anyone speechless. 8 remarkably preserved mummies of an Inuit family, almost perfectly intact thanks to the region's frigid climate. The family consisted of 3 adult women, 3 young girls, and 2 boys, one around 6 months old and the other 4 years old. Notably, all 6 females bore tattoos on their foreheads and chins, indicating their social status and spiritual roles within the ancient Inuit community. Though they had been laid to rest since 1475 CE, their skin, hair, eyebrows, and even fingernails remained visible, as if time had forgotten them. Each body was carefully wrapped in fur clothing, both for warmth and spiritual significance. When researchers examined the cave, they found the bodies arranged in a clear order. The 6-month-old boy lay nestled inside his mother's fur clothing, only his tiny face, hands, and a few strands of dark brown hair visible, a detail that evoked both awe and sorrow. In ancient Inuit culture, if a mother died, her young child would be buried with her, regardless of whether the child was alive. They believed this was the only way for both to be reunited and live peacefully in the afterlife. The community also understood that a child who lost its mother would inevitably die from hunger and cold, a harsh reality in the icy terrain. The three older women in the family were estimated to be around 50 years old, likely dying from illnesses such as kidney stones, chronic constipation, or general weakness. The three daughters ranged from 18 to 30 years old. The 4-year-old boy showed signs of Down syndrome, which may have been why he was ritually buried alive, according to customs of that time. The stories behind each body reveal how severe life was for the ancient Inuit, closely tied to strict cultural practices. The family was also buried with 78 items made of animal hide, mostly from seals and reindeer. The large quantity of clothing and gear reflected their social status and helped preserve the mummies in the extreme cold. That same frigid climate unintentionally served as a natural embalmer, keeping their bodies intact for nearly half a millennium. Today, 4 of the 8 mummies are displayed at the National Museum of Greenland in Nuuk. So, if you ever visit this remote land, make sure to stop by and see these ancient faces for yourself. Each mummy is not just a relic of the past, it's a vivid story of the life, culture, and survival resilience of ancestors in Greenland's harsh Arctic environment. An 8-million-year-old ancient forest in Hungary. Did you know that in the heart of Bukobrani, northeastern Hungary, there's an ancient forest you can only reach by going nearly 200 feet underground? If that sounds unbelievable, let me take you back to 2007, when after just a few days of excavation, archaeologists uncovered a discovery that stunned the scientific world. 16 preserved swamp cypress trunks, maintaining their original shape and wood composition from when they grew 8 million years ago. Exciting enough, right? But the story behind them is even more fascinating. You may know that in swampy environments, buried trees often turn into coal over time. But what was found in Bukobrani was completely different. These tree trunks, buried deep underground, were not only intact, they were almost perfectly preserved. To see them, you have to enter a mine covering about 37,700 square feet, where time seems to stand still, revealing cypress trees with diameters of 6 to 10 feet and preserved heights of about 20 feet. In life, these trees could reach 100 to 130 feet tall, a vivid testament to the grandeur of nature during the Miocene epoch. The Miocene, which began over 10 million years ago, was a period when the Bukobrani area was covered by the massive Pannonian Lake, along with swamps and heavy mud. The ancient cypress forest grew in a wet, water-rich environment where every small natural change left a trace in the tree's life cycles. So, what allowed these trees to survive millions of years while remaining so well preserved? The answer lies in a sudden natural event. A massive sandstorm buried the forest under 20 feet of sand, protecting the roots from sunlight and air, the two main enemies that normally cause wood to decay. While the parts above ground eventually disappeared over time, the buried trunks were preserved so perfectly that touching them still feels like fresh wood. However, not everything is perfect. The cypress trunks are now hardening due to the loss of cellulose, the natural glue that holds plant cells together. Preserving and studying them is therefore an extremely delicate process. Scientists have analyzed their age and tree rings, reconstructing a climate record of the region spanning thousands of years. Remarkably, each cypress was 300 to 400 years old when it died, and they didn't all grow at the same time. This allows researchers to track climate changes over a 1,000 to 1,500 year period, inferring how the environment transformed from the life cycles of individual trees. Imagine this: massive trees sleeping underground for 8 million years, finally discovered, each tree ring a page of an ancient diary recording rain, sun, storms, and life. Stepping into the Bukobrani mine is like touching the imprint of time itself, hearing whispers of nature from millions of years ago. Who would have thought that modern-day Hungary hides a living museum of nature where time has paused to protect these miraculous cypress trees? It's an adventure that combines exploration, learning, and awe, experiencing the grandeur of nature that existed long before humans walked the earth. Just thinking about it makes your heart race, doesn't it? A 3,800-year-old skeleton reveals the lost story of ancient Peru. In August 2024, near a valley in Viru province, La Libertad, Peru, archaeologists unearthed 4 ancient skeletons, dating from 3,100 to 3,800 years ago. This discovery is like opening a wide time portal, taking us back to an era when mysterious cultures once thrived on the legendary land of Peru. The excavation site lies near a valley in Viru province, an area long known for traces of numerous ancient civilizations. Finding these tombs raises the question, who lived here, worshipped deities, and performed rituals thousands of years ago? Experts suggest that the site may have been an ancient temple where locals honored the gods of a culture that eventually disappeared with time. The 4 skeletons were discovered alongside elaborate funerary objects, all buried within a large tomb. This indicates that the ancient people placed great importance on ritual, with every detail of the burial process carrying profound spiritual significance. In fact, archaeologist Ferran Castillo from the National University of Trujillo noted that this discovery marks an important milestone, offering a chance to better understand the cultural development of the region thousands of years ago. He also believes that many tombs in the surrounding area remain unexcavated, suggesting that this site was once a highly significant religious and social center. Interestingly, the proximity of the burials to religious structures shows that the ancient people held deep beliefs in sanctity, similar to how many today wish to be buried near churches, hoping for protection in the afterlife. Even after millennia, human beliefs about life and death retain surprisingly similar patterns. Every layer of soil turned in Peru tells an untold story, helping piece together the historical puzzle of the glorious civilizations that once existed here, from the Inca, Moche, Nazca, to Wari. Archaeology not only allows us to understand the past, but also illuminates the development of religion, art, technology, and the ancient worldview. These recently uncovered skeletons serve as vivid evidence of the creativity and profound faith of Peru's ancestors. They remind us that every artifact, whether a shard of pottery or an ancient skeleton, carries timeless value. Each piece helps us understand the social structures, customs, and beliefs that shaped human history. So, whenever Peru unveils a new secret, we take one step closer to decoding the mysterious past of humanity. Discoveries like this excite not only scientists, but also explorers and enthusiasts, sparking awe and fascination in all of us. The Tomb of a Maya Queen and the chilling story of sacrifice in the Guatemalan jungle. In a dramatic excavation deep in the dense jungles of Guatemala, where ancient tree canopies block out the sunlight, archaeologists uncovered a completely buried pyramid, and inside lay the intact skeleton of a powerful woman. Detailed analysis revealed that she was a Maya queen, a figure who once held supreme authority in the flourishing empire of ancient Central America. What shocked archaeologists even more was that next to the queen's skeleton, they discovered the body of a child. But this was no coincidence. Evidence on the skeleton shows that the child had been sacrificed and buried alongside the queen in a deep pit as part of a haunting funerary ritual practiced by the Maya. This grim detail not only reflects the strict religious ceremonies of the time, but also highlights the enormous power wielded by the Maya royal family during their peak. The tomb has been identified in Holmol, a site renowned for countless remnants of the Maya civilization, which thrived for nearly 3,000 years. This was the cradle of one of the most brilliant civilizations in the Americas, reaching its zenith between 250 and 900 AD. The Maya built massive cities in the jungle while developing advanced mathematics and astronomy. At a time when much of the world still lived in primitive tribal societies, the Maya constructed monumental architecture using sophisticated engineering and maintained an extremely complex social organization. Even more fascinating is that the Holmol discovery was not just the result of traditional excavation. Using LiDAR technology, a modern laser scanning system, archaeologists were able to see through the dense foliage and uncover 3 previously unknown pyramids simultaneously. One of these pyramids housed the queen's remains, and according to Dr. Francisco Estrada Belli from Tulane University, it is possible that beneath the pyramid's base lies the tomb of her husband, a powerful Maya king. The other 2 pyramids are believed to be the resting places of at least 5 kings and other royal family members, and possibly even those sacrificed alongside them. Looking at the broader picture, this discovery is like opening a door into the spiritual and political world of the Maya royal family. The sacrificial rituals, the connections between the gods and royalty, and the absolute reverence for kings and queens are all vividly recorded in the newly unearthed bones and artifacts. Thus, it is no exaggeration to say that this discovery gives us a deeper understanding of Maya customs, religious beliefs, and the mechanisms of power in this mysterious civilization. Amid the rustling winds of the ancient forest, the story of the Maya Queen and the hidden pyramids continues to unfold, leaving every explorer shivering with excitement and curiosity about the secrets that may still lie ahead. The 9,000-year-old tomb of a female hunter in the Andes. Nearly 9,000 years ago, on the towering slopes of the Andes Mountains, a young woman hunted large animals using spears and stone-tipped projectiles. Surprising, isn't it? This discovery shook the academic world's understanding of hunter-gatherer societies when researchers uncovered the tomb of a female hunter, complete with an array of specialized weapons and tools. The tomb was discovered in 2018 at the Willamaya Pachsa site, located at a significant altitude in what is now Peru. Careful analysis revealed that the individual was a young woman aged 17 to 19 at the time of her death. She was buried with tools used for hunting large animals, including throwing spears, stone-tipped lances for taking down prey, stone knives for butchering, and tools for skinning. These artifacts show that she was not only skilled in hunting, but also knowledgeable in processing her kills, a task far from simple in an ancient hunter-gatherer society. Previously, archaeologists generally assumed that men hunted while women gathered fruits, seeds, and plants. However, the Willamaya Pachsa discovery challenges this assumption. The fact that a young woman participated in hunting large animals demonstrates that women played active, significant roles in hunter-gatherer societies, rather than being passive or limited to gathering tasks. To support this finding, the research team analyzed 429 skeletons from 107 cemeteries across North and South America, dating from the late Pleistocene to the early Holocene, roughly 8,000 to 14,000 years ago. The results were fascinating. Among 27 individuals buried with hunting tools, 11 were female and 15 were male. This clearly shows that women were not exceptions. They actively participated in hunting, at least in groups where cooperation was required to take down large game. Many might wonder, why did hunting require multiple people? The answer lies in the limitations of ancient weapons. Spears and lances lacked precision, so driving and killing large animals could not be accomplished by one or two individuals alone. Hunting was a community activity where every member, male or female, played a critical role in ensuring success. The Willamaya Pachsa tomb opens a window not only into the life of a female hunter 9,000 years ago, but also into the evolution of labor division. It shows that ancient hunter-gatherer societies were not simply men hunted, women gathered. They were flexible communities, where the skills and contributions of each individual were valued. Researchers emphasize that analyzing additional cemeteries will help us better understand how gender roles evolved over time in hunter-gatherer societies. And if you imagine the vast slopes of the Andes, countless untold stories remain about the people who lived, hunted, and helped shape human society as we know it today. The three giant stone pillars that have guarded Yorkshire for thousands of years. Did you know that right in the middle of the peaceful fields of Yorkshire, England, there stand three towering stone pillars defying time and human hands for thousands of years? People call them the Devil's Arrows, a name both eerie and intriguing, sparking curiosity in anyone who hears it. These three stone pillars measure 22.3 feet, 22 feet, and 18 feet tall, respectively, and have stood proudly for over 3,200 years, dating back to the Neolithic or Bronze Age. They are considered the tallest standing stone graves in all of England. The story of the Devil's Arrows is not just archaeological, it's steeped in folklore and legend. In the 17th century, villagers in Aldborough told of a resident who accidentally angered the devil. Instead of punishing him immediately, the devil angrily uprooted these enormous stones and hurled them like arrows at the village. Fortunately, an angel appeared and deflected the arrows, causing them to land in the surrounding area, leaving the three pillars we see today. Spooky as it sounds, you have to admit these tales make the place irresistibly mysterious. Years later, in 1709, the Yorkshire authorities decided to excavate the pillars to understand them better. They discovered that each stone was carefully positioned, reinforced with rocks, pebbles, and compacted clay, showing that the ancients had shaped and polished each pillar before setting and securing it with meticulous care. This reveals the astonishing craftsmanship and patience of prehistoric people, who created a monument both grand and enigmatic. But you might wonder, what was the real purpose of these stone pillars? To this day, archaeologists have not found a definitive answer. Two prominent hypotheses exist. First, they could have been Roman victory monuments, commemorating a significant historical event. Second, they might have served as lunar observation towers for ancient rituals and religious ceremonies. Whatever the case, the mystery remains unsolved, which makes the Devil's Arrows even more captivating. These three stone pillars are not merely giant rocks. They are living witnesses of culture, belief, and mystical stories from thousands of years ago. The local church once considered them the gates of Satan, while villagers still believe they are connected to ancient rituals. Standing before them, you can sense the breath of history, the mystery of nature, and the brilliance of those who built them. It's fascinating to think that, despite the passage of time, rain, wind, and human activity, these pillars remain standing, defying explanation and continuing to tell their own story. They are not just archaeological relics, they are proof that some mysteries are never forgotten, patiently waiting for curious minds like ours to discover them. Just imagine standing among these towering stone pillars, listening to the stories of the ancients, a feeling both thrilling and spine-chilling. That is the enduring allure of the Devil's Arrows, where history, legend, and nature converge, leaving an unforgettable impression on anyone daring enough to approach. Truly fascinating, isn't it? If you've been following along this far, you've probably felt just how vast and mysterious the world around us truly is. Every discovery unearthed by archaeologists is not just an artifact, it's also a reminder that history still holds countless pages waiting to be turned. If you want to continue exploring even stranger secrets with me, be sure to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the upcoming adventures full of surprises.